Functions in Python are objects. They can be assigned to variables and passed to and returned from other functions. Functions can be defined inside other functions, and a child function can capture their parent function's local state. Decorators decorate or wrap another function and let you execute code before and after the wrapped function runs. Decorators allows you to define reusable building blocks that can change or extend the behavior of other functions, and they let you to do without permanently modifying the wrapped function itself. The function behavior changes only when it's decorated. And in basic terms, a decorator is a callable that takes a callable as input and returns another callable. In this video tutorial, we will cover a null decorator, decorator that can change behavior, multiple decorators for a single function, decorators with arguments, debuggable decorators. Let's start with null decorator. Let's build a function that has the property and could be considered as the simplest decorator ever. This looks like this. As you can see, null decorator is scalable. It's a function. It takes another scalable as its input, and it returns the same input scalable without modifying it. In this example, we have defined a greet function and then immediately decorated it by running it through the null decorator function. This does not look very useful yet. I mean, we specifically designed a null decorator to be useless, but in a moment it will be clarified how Python decorator's syntax works. Instead of explicitly calling null decorator on greet and then reassigning the greet variable, you can use Python's eta syntax for decorating a function in one step. Putting an eta null decorator line in front of the function definition is the same as defining the function first and then running through the decorator. Note that using the eta syntax decorates the function immediately at definition time. This makes it difficult to access the undecorated original without the brittle hacks. Therefore, you might choose to decorate some functions manually in order to retain the ability to call the under-decorated function as well. Let's see how. So, decorators can modify behavior. Now that you are a little more familiar with the decorator syntax, let's write another decorator that actually does something and modifies the behavior of the decorated function. Here's a slightly more complex decorator which converts the result of the decorated function to be uppercase letters. Instead of simply returning the input function like the null decorator did, this uppercase decorator defines a new function on the fly and uses it to wrap the input function in order to modify its behavior at call time. The wrapper closure has access to the undecorated input function and it is free to execute additional code before and after calling the input function. Technically, it does not even need to call the input function at all. Note how up until now the decorated function has never been executed. Actually, calling the input function at this point would not make any sense. You will want the decorator to be able to modify the behavior of its input function when it gets called eventually. Time to see the uppercase decorator in action. What happens if you decorate the original greet function with it? I hope this was the result you expected. Let's take a closer look at what has just happened here. Unlike null decorator, our uppercase decorator returns a different function object when it decorates a function. As you saw earlier, it needs to do that in order to modify the behavior of the decorated function when it finally gets called. The uppercase decorator is a function itself, and the only way to influence the future behavior of an input function it decorates is to replace or wrap the input function with a closure. That's why uppercase defines and returns another function that can be called at a later time, run the original input function and modify its results. Decorators modify the behavior of a callable through the wrapper so you do not have to permanently modify the originals. In order to make decorators more powerful, you can apply multiple decorators to a single function. You can apply more than one decorator to a function. This accumulates their effects and it's what makes decorators so helpful as reusable building blocks. Let's have an example. Let's write the following decorators that wrap the output string of the decorated function in HTML tags. By looking at how the tags are nested, you can see which order Python used to apply multiple decorators. Now, let's take these two decorators and apply them to our greet function at the same time. You can use the regular eta syntax for that and just stack multiple decorators on the top of a single function. What output do you expect to see if you run the decorated function? Will the emphasis decorator add its M tag first, or does strong have precedence? Here what happens when you call the decorated function. This clearly shows in what order the decorators were applied. First of all, we applied strong decorator and then emphasis. You can change this order as you want. To help me remember this bottom to top order, I like to call this behavior decorating stacking. You start building the stack at the bottom and then keep adding the new blocks on the top of your work your way upwards. If you break down this example and avoid the eta syntax to apply the decorators, the chain of decorators functions calls look like this. This also means that deep levels of decorator stacking will have an effect on performance eventually because they keep adding nested functions calls. Usually this will not be a problem in practice, but in sometimes to keep in mind if you are working on performance intensive codes. Now, let's try to experiment with decorating functions that accept arguments. All examples so far only decorated a simple nullary greet functions that did not take any arguments whatsoever. So the decorators you saw up till now did not have to deal with the forwarding arguments to the input function. If you try to apply one of these decorators to a function that takes arguments, it will not work correctly. How you do decorate a function that takes arbitrary arguments? This is where Python's args and kwargs feature for dealing with variable numbers of arguments comes in handy. The following proxy decorator takes advantage of that. Let's quickly write this decorator. There are two notable things going with this decorator. First of all, it uses the 1 star and 2 stars operators in the wrapper closure definition to collect all positional and keywords arguments and stores them in variables. It uses args and kwargs. And the second one, the wrapper's closure then forwards the collected arguments to the original input function using the 1 star and 2 star arguments and packing operators. Let's try this technique in our example. Let's write a trace decorator that logs function arguments and result during the execution time. Let's quickly write the code in Python and use this decorator. Decorating a function with trace and then calling it with print the argument passed to the decorated function and it returns a value. Speaking of debugging, there's some things you should keep in mind when debugging decorators. So let's talk about debuggable decorators right now. When you use a decorator, really what you are doing is replacing one function with another. One downside of this process is that it hides some of the metadata attached to the original function. For example, the original function name, its docstrings, and parameters list are hidden by the wrapper closure. If you try to access any of that function metadata, you will see the wrapper's closure metadata instead. This makes debugging and working with the Python interpreter awkward and challenging. Thankfully, there is a quick fix for this. There is a functool wraps decorator included in the Python startup library. You can use function wrap in your own decorator to copy over the lost metadata from the undecorated function to decorator closure. Let's quickly write this example right now. Applying functools wraps to the wrapper closure returned by the decorator carries over the docstrings and other metadata of the input function. As the best practice, I would recommend that you use a functool wraps in all your decorators you write yourself. It does not take much time and it will save you and others while debugging. Thank you for watching this video tutorial. I really hope that it was useful for you. Never stop learning, suggest a new topic for the new video, and see you there.